And U.S. stock futures are struggling for a firm direction today, signaling a muted open after North Korea fired another missile over Japan. Investors are waiting for a raft of U.S. economic data, including figures for retail sales, industrial production, and consumer sentiment. Talking about the numbers now, the Dow Jones Industrial Average Futures shed less than 0.1% to 22,163. Futures for the S&P 500 slipped 0.12% to 2,490.75, while those for the Nasdaq 100 gave up 0.15% to 5,962. And Asian stocks were broadly lower on Friday following North Korea's latest missile launch over Japan, but equities there rose slightly even as the yen strengthened. Japan's Nikkei stock average was up 0.1%, despite a bit of a rebound overnight in the yen. South Korea's Kospi index fell 0.4%. Underperforming in Asia were stocks in Hong Kong and Australia, with both benchmarks down some 0.6%. Well, let's take a breather from those numbers now. A former president of Tanzania, Mr. Benjamin Mkapa, has asked the Nigerian government to invest more in technology in order to improve the contributions of its manufacturing sector to the gross domestic products. Mr. Nkapa's recommendations were delivered at a forum of the Manufacturers Association of Nigeria in Lagos. He suggests partnerships with China on the research and development, but advised the government against the signing of the European Union Economic Partnership Agreement.
A seasoned economist once argued that, quote, development gap is indeed a technology gap. And I couldn't agree more. The ability to create, acquire, and adapt new technologies is a critical requirement for competing successfully in the global marketplace, and is very lacking in Africa. It is also a well-documented fact that the African continent has not kept pace with technological advancement, and Nigeria is no exception. I believe that the private sector in Nigeria, of course in collaboration with the government at all levels, need to examine the technology system obtaining currently in the country to determine how best it is suited to facilitate transfer of technology as well as enhancement of absorption capacity and its use, especially in the manufacturing industry. Nigeria needs to invest more share of the GDP in research and development. And I was told yesterday that Honorable Dangote has pledged support to give the man a capacity to do research in their presentations and recommendations to government. Nigeria is the largest populated country in the whole of Africa, and it can leverage technology to make quantum leaps in production of goods for the ECOWAS region and beyond. It will take a commitment from both the federal government and the private sector to find the right technological solutions to the many challenges the country is confronted with. I would suggest that Nigeria looks more to China to tap into their vast knowledge in the development and application of advanced but affordable technology for the production boom. Nigerian businesses should aggressively pursue partnership with Chinese businesses that are willing to invest and provide technology transfer agreements. Over time, Nigeria, through the pivotal role of man, can become the next global production hub after China, Thailand, and Vietnam. Effective trade policies. Chairman, distinguished invited guests, ladies and gentlemen. This is another area that I think we ought to tread very carefully if we are really serious about our industrialization drive. Effective trade policies would encourage local manufacturing companies to build better products to compete not only in the regional but also international markets. While our aspiration to pursue development through trade without aid is as ideal as ambitious to any responsible government, the present global paradigm is unfavorably structured for Africa, and whether by design or by default, it serves to ensure that we don't achieve those aspirations and we remain perpetually dependent. Let us seek reprieve from the wisdom of our Yoruba ancestors. He who disappoints another is unworthy to be trusted. At this juncture, I want to thank you immensely for your correct standing on EPA, the Economic Partnership Agreement. Your president calmed my nerves in his speech when he confirmed that the position has not changed. Some of my European friends are not very happy with me when I characterize EPA as the modern-day equivalent of the Berlin Conference Treaty. While the Berlin Conference of 1884 to 1885 balkanized Africa among 13 European powers as a guaranteed source of raw materials and market, how are the EPAs different from that? In reality, Africa negotiated these EPAs under unprecedented economic duress and coercion. In the process, African governments were arm-twisted into glossing over some very pertinent aspects of the agreement, especially for EU's economic expediency.
Former President of Tanzania, Benjamin Mkapa. Egyptian policymakers are weighing plans to raise 1.5 billion euros from the country's first sale of euro-denominated bonds. The possible sale would happen before the end of November. With local borrowing costs above 15%, Egypt is increasingly looking at international debt markets to capitalize on growing investor confidence as it floated its currency and cut costly energy subsidies. The steps helped seal a 3-year, $12 billion loan program from the International Monetary Fund in November. The North African country raised $7 billion from the sale of Eurobonds in the fiscal year that ended in June, including $4 billion in January, consisting 5, 10, and 30-year bonds with yields of 6.12%, 7.5%, and 8.5%, respectively. When Business Incorporated returns in a moment, we'll tell you about Capital Works London hedge fund. Do stay with us.